Assalamualaikum to Sir Zack and I, Noadina Atasha. Today will be presenting to you about my article critique based on article name It Looks Weird to Me, Attitude Towards Standard and Varying Grammar in Present Day English by Atikom Tientong. So now let's move on to the author's background. So the author is a lecturer in English Communication Program, Faculty of Liberal Arts at Ubon Ratchathani University, Thailand. Through this article, the author focused more on the university, student and teacher attitudes toward the standard grammar and variant grammar. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. To sum up this article, I can say that the study found the teacher accepted both standard and variant form as followers and provider of English norm in Thai. While for the student, they more prefer on variant form as followers and futures provider norm, but ironically, they justify this choice using prescriptive rules. The author argued that grammar learning and teaching should address language variation and variant linguistic form from descriptive perspective. Main point of the article is to study about how student and teachers' attitude towards standard grammar and variant grammar of English and acceptability or unacceptability of standard and variant features. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Through this article, I found three key strengths, which is first, its mixed method approach that combine both quantitative such as corpus data. For instance, the author used the N10-10-20 to prove that words like stuff actually appear in English. Second, is a strong sociolinguistic theoretical framework. This article has a solid sociolinguistic framework such as explanation on language ideology and about prescriptivism versus descriptive, based on Tientong 2021. Lastly, a diverse opinion on English use. Authors include responses from people of different ages and background. For example, teachers and students from a different and various age. However, there are also the weakness in this article. Of course, there's always a weakness. First, it only surveys English experts in the study who are English teachers and university students who basically use English in their studies. Secondly, the sample show an imbalance of gender in the respondent. Female is 63.2% while male is 33.5%, and this can affect the result of the study because they are imbalanced. Now let's move on to the crab test. This article shows a good clarity with well-organized content and is easier to understand. The article also shows a good relevance with up-to-date resources. For authority, I can say that the author is qualified and he often supports his statement with high-quality research. Same goes to the accuracy. This article has a valid evidence like corpus data and chi-square to support the research of this article. But this article has a slight bias by only surveying on English expert for this research. In conclusion for this article, I found that the student prefer variant forms while teacher accepted both. But at the end, author stated that Thai people remain influenced by standard language prescriptivism, and according to Kuo 2007 as cited in Tientong 2022, said that standard grammar remains vital in teaching and learning. I believe that the further studies should be conducted in the future on the participant from various backgrounds and not only limited to English expert only. Since the majority of the Thai people consider English as a foreign language, which is we call it as English foreign language EFL. So the further and deeper research can help the findings become more clearer and stronger in the future. I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening.